Yeah, I think he's, early in the year, obviously he looked like he wasn't quite what he is now. He's done a really good job developing throughout the year. He looks like he has command of the offense now. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws. He's got good wide receivers that get open for him. I think he does a good job with his reads, and he does a good job, scrambling or getting rid of the football when he gets pressure and there's nowhere to go with it.
How do you think Myles did in his first start, I guess, his first start this season? How do you stack up when you watch it back?
Yeah, Myles, I think, every game, every player would probably tell you there's a few plays they wish they could have back. There's a few that he wishes he could have back, but for the most part, Myles stepped in there and did a really good job, played sound defense. His first start, obviously, had a couple picks, and, he didn't have a splash play necessarily in the last game, but a lot of times when a brand new starter gets injected into the game, if there's not a lot of, if you don't notice him a whole bunch, that's probably a good thing, and Myles did his job for the most part and played a really good football game. Yeah, I thought David Bell was I still do. I think he's, one of the best receivers in the country and in our conference, and, I think I can't remember, held him to whatever we held him to, but I think those guys did a good job of limiting a really good receiver to well under what he normally gets in a football game, and, also their offense that's lived off explosive plays for the last 5 years, and I think there was one in the game, and that was a 21-yard throw. So I think the guys did a really good job of limiting big plays, and keeping David Bell under what he normally gets.
What are a few, I guess, bullet point items that you want to see improve or be better these last few games to the finish line?
I think we need to cause some more turnovers. We've gotten some picks, which is good. We need to cause some more forced fumbles. We need to sack the quarterback a little bit more. And then I just think that, right now we're constantly, every game, you're hovering around, to me, that like 33% on the third down percentage is kind of, when you look back statistically over college football and stats or whatever, that 33% kind of gets you into that top group. And, like last game, we were 35.7 or something like that. So get off the field one more time or two more times on third down, and that makes a huge difference in the football game. So I think those are the areas you want to see continue to improve. Well, they got a really big offensive line that's really good. They got a good young running back. Obviously, at the beginning of the year with him, he's done a nice job developing too. He was hitting everything with speed, and it was kind of, that's where I'm supposed to go. I'm going to hit that thing. Now he's really been able to read what they're trying to do. He's put his foot in the ground. He's cutting it back. So I think that he's got a really good feel for what they're trying to do in the run game now.
How helpful is it for you guys to have seen Ohio State for a number of years now? This isn't an offense that you're preparing for kind of out of the blue. Does that help at all, having seen them the last few years?
Yeah, I think so. Coach Day does a good job, and their coordinators, they're always going to change things. They're going to tweak things. They do a great job formationally with motions to try to hide some of those indicators that you have in the run and the pass game. But, obviously when you play against guys, you have a feel for them, and the receivers are, back, and some of the O-linemen, the starters are back, and you got to have a feel for those guys and just kind of what it feels like to play a team of that caliber. So I think it probably helps some. Yeah, like I told you guys at the beginning of the year, I still believe it. We're playing really good defense. We have a really good culture in that room. We have really good people in that room. Those kids are, they're football players. They love the game. They love being around each other. They know what we're trying to do. They want to come to work. They want to play for each other. They want to play for the fans. They want to play for Nebraska. I just love the culture that we have in that room, and these kids they're not going to do anything differently. They're not going to say the woe is me. Well, we lost a couple games. They don't care. Right back to work. Let's play again. Just because they love to be out there, they love to play this game, and they want to continue to develop. They started off last year with getting to be a good group, a good defense, and they've continually progressed. Obviously, some weeks they've played exceptional football. Some weeks they haven't played quite up to their standard, I would say, but they want to continue to progress. The young guys, the old guys want to leave it all out there for Nebraska. The young guys want to continue to develop and be really good in the years to come. But I just like the group we have on defense, and I'm thankful for them, and I commend them for their attitude and their workmanlike approach to week to week.
How big or how small would you say the talent gap is between these two programs, you guys in Ohio State, and how much has that maybe changed since you guys arrived?
Yeah, I think probably, I don't know. I mean, early, it was a probably new system on defense, new players, all that kind of thing, and you're walking into a team that's really good talent, really well developed, been in the system for a while. But whatever that gap is, it's shrinking very, very quickly. We just got to continue, and obviously we got to continue to develop players, continue to recruit players. But I think, here developing players is as important as anything. There's a lot of good players within this 500-mile radius, and some of those guys play basketball, and then they go play football, and then they go play track, and then they go play baseball, and they don't lift weights as much as some of these guys that play football all year round in some other states. And those guys come to us like a Luke Reimer and Nick Henrich and a Garrett Nelson. They come to us, and you have to develop those guys, and you have to get them in the program and develop them. And that's, I think, is what's happening here. On the defensive side of the ball, you see all those guys that are the Ben Stilleys, like we already said, Garrett, JoJo and Isaac Gifford and Reimer and Nick Henrich, and those guys are going to continue to have to be in this program. Those are what this program is built on, and those guys got to continue to develop. So that's how you close the gap.
You guys have done a pretty good job at times this year of taking away what another team might do really well. You played well against Kent Walker, you developed plays against Oklahoma, you just David Bell last week. Is that, not asking you to give away a game plan, obviously, but is that tough with Ohio State with how balanced they are and all the different things that they are really good at?
Yeah, I think all the teams you mentioned, it's really hard to take away what really good players do. You know what I mean? But you have to try to make them adjust a little bit every week. You have to try to take away what they do best. You're not going to be able to. Obviously, you can't. If it's a team that, like this team, that runs the ball really good and they throw the ball really good, you're probably not going to be able to take away everything on every down, right? But my job is I gotta be prepared for what I think they're going to do, what they've shown they're going to do, try to take it away in those situations, and then the rest of the time the guys got to play rules football. They got to do their job, and they've done really good at that this year. And sometimes in coverage, we all know it, we're not crazy in coverage. There's always a hole in the coverage, right? No matter what coverage you run, unless you're playing man every snap, and the kids know that. They know if they throw a 10-yard out cut versus certain coverage, they're going to get it. We tackle it, we move on, and then I better call different coverage. But there's certain things you can take away, and there's certain things you can't. But this team's really good at running the football and throwing the football, so it'll be a great challenge for us.
Cam seemed kind of non-committal about his future after this season. Do you have any conversations with him about whether to come back for that additional year or pursue his professional career?
Yeah, usually I like to have those conversations after the season. To me, those conversations don't help mid-season. It doesn't help the young man. It doesn't help me. I don't want that young man thinking about those types of things while he's preparing for Ohio State or whoever he needs to prepare for. So usually those conversations happen after the fact, and then we'll have an honest and open conversation. And I always want to do right by the young man and his family first, and then we'll talk through the situation after that.
Myles has played quite, maybe you've already asked about Myles, but played quite a bit. How much does it help then to have a full game, sort of all the wrinkles and everything you see over the course of 85 snaps to go through with him and help him get ready for what he's used to?
Yeah, I think being in the game flow definitely helps. I don't think any of us had a doubt that Myles was going to go in there and operate. Like we said, guys go in, first-time starter. Everybody makes a mistake in every game. He probably made a few, right? But he operated pretty well. He done a good job. But having a game under your belt definitely helps. And just operating with the other guys on the field, operating from sideline to huddle, it's a little different than in practice. And obviously operating under the big lights and in front of 100,000 fans is a pretty cool deal, but it's also not something that you're used to. So I think having a game under his belt will be very helpful for him.
Is that one corner spot a little more up for grabs? I mean, I know Quinton's played really well, but you brought in Braxton late Saturday. What does that sort of say?
Yeah, no, Braxton deserves to play some. He's done really well in practice. Braxton's really good in coverage, and he deserves to get in there a little bit, and we can rotate some of those guys through. And obviously you're getting towards the end of the season where guys have played a lot of reps, and you want to start rolling some guys through, especially if there's been some long series or guys getting tired or things like that. So Braxton deserves to play some football.